another great dawn with great opportunities for you to make sure you make money and conquer that business world. How are you doing? Good morning. Welcome to SMB. This is Smart 24 TV. I'm Rita Cabanero, and catch me up at Rita Cabanero on social media platforms. And hello, happy Women's Day to every sister of yours, to every mother you've got, to every spouse, to every grandmother out there, and to every woman, to every girl child. Happy Women's Day to you, and happy Women's Day to me. Very well. Now we're driving business together with you. Expect a lot from SMB, ranging from SMB reports ranging from across the continent. We bring to you across borders, and you expect a lot ranging today's stories about cars. We will be talking about celebrating women. We will be also highlighting on how different people are going to be commemorating the day, and not forgetting the NSSF midterm access, how it is also faring. SMB surely will also cross to bring to you what you expect in regards to the weather forecast, and don't miss out on our business tip, the quote, and also our topic of discussion looking out for businesses for women, how we're going to be boosting ourselves for this day. And surely don't forget to subscribe to our Facebook, to our YouTube, and also different social media platforms. Get us there and keep the conversation flowing with us. And also, please, can you tell me, can you share with me how you're feeling today, how you're going to be celebrating that woman in your life, how you're going to be celebrating your sister, and if you're a man, how are you going to be celebrating this day as well? Please comment in the section there, and we will surely be getting the comments that you got. And now let us head dively into what we have for the day, kickstarting it with the car dealers, and that is in regards to the used car prices that have been raised up to 16%. Car dealers registering a decrease or a very reduction in their sales. Now, associated car dealers have recorded a reduction in sales after rising a price for about 16% on the used car by used cars. And Albert there, the assistant director of Wava Motors, saying that he has got more prices, taxes, and also ongoing with the high rankings from policies. This is making them register low turn-ups for their sales. Let us have this. We do return, and make sure you comment on this as well to discuss more on it.
Logistical challenges and an increase in shipping prices have pushed up the cost of motor vehicles by an average of 1.7 million, which represents at least 16%. The increase comes on the back of a global pandemic occasioned by COVID-19 and an escalation in the general cost of goods and services across the world. Associated car dealers have therefore recorded a reduction in sales after a rise in price by 16% on the used cars. In an interview with the Smart 24 TV, Bali Albert, the assistant director of Wava Motors, says that the more the prices goes higher, the more they register low turn-up of customers.
Affected us so much that the clientele base reduced compared to the sales we used to make because of the taxes. Yeah, for example, if you're to invest in 20M in a car, then that means you're forced to sell it at 25. Now, someone to come with 25 cash, that's a long way to go.
For instance, about 6 months ago, Toyota Fielder, which cost $2,700, now goes for $4,500, while most third-generation vehicles costing about 15 million have since increased to 18 million.
Yeah, the places we buy the cars, we ship those cars from Japan $2,000, 2000, you can buy a car at 2,000 US dollars. That's approximately 7M with shipment. I mean, you buy it up to Mombasa, being shipped up to Mombasa. Now, you've come here to face taxes. You'll find that you'll pay taxes. You pay 14M in taxes. So you can also calculate the difference, 7M to 14. So you can see that the taxes are higher than the purchase price. And then not only taxes, you after paying taxes, you have to go to you have to buy the third party. You have to put in other small taxes for you to be able to use the car on the road. Actually, they tell you the price. They give you the price with the shipment inclusive. That's how they do business. So you find that, for example, if you're buying a wish at 2,500 US dollars with shipment, then you come here to pay 14M. You're asking how does it come to Uganda? Now, when it comes up to Mombasa, we have our drivers. Sometimes we use these rural vehicles to bring the cars, but most of the times we use our drivers. So that's also another expense, because you have to facilitate that driver to drive that car from Mombasa to Uganda. That takes approximately 2.2. So the 2.2, you add on the 14M, which are the taxes, you add on other small expenses, you end up you find that the price, the money you've spent, the taxes you've paid here in Uganda, higher than the purchase price.
About the prices, dealers said that it has been made worse by government's policy, which demands that motor vehicles that are older than 15 years cannot be imported into the country.
To import cars at any year of manufacture, like 1990s, from 1990s to 2000, but now they brought that limit that the cars which are entering Uganda are strictly supposed to be 2008 and above. Now, someone to buy a 2008 model, it's quite expensive.
Data from the industry players suggested that motor vehicle brands that are highly demanded by Ugandans, such as Pasio and Raum, are being phased out of the market, which leaves only costly brands such as Fielder. Prices are estimated to have increased by between 11% to 16%, spread across all over the sizes and models. Uganda is a net importer, with much of the country's motor vehicle imports sourced from Japan, India, South Africa, and Germany. During the quarter ended December 2021, according to the data from the Uganda Revenue Authority, a total of 12,057 used motor vehicles were imported into the country, earning the government at least 375 billion in taxes. Uganda Revenue Authority data also indicates that 4,060 used motor vehicles were imported into the country in October 2021, but slightly reduced to 3,730 units in November, before picking up again to 4,267 units in December. However, during December, data shows that imports were almost 21% below the 5,188 units that were cleared in the same period in 2020, with Ugandans spending above 2 trillion annually. And that's according to the data from the Ministry of Finance. Pedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV.
Thank you, Petson Mumber. Then also what you need to know is that Uganda's vehicle market in September 2021 was staying down in a double digit, around remaining a huge of about 49.3% below the pre-pandemic level. And also, in fact, there was a 102 units that had been sold in September, and that came out with a negative 33.7%, leading to the data sales of around 1,182 units, and that is a negative of around negative 3.7%. And all those were held around Toyota Holdings, about a 45.4% share, and gaining around 3.5% on the data that Pedson Mumber was highlighting earlier on for us. But what about the market trends in September 2021? Still, when the reports were being highlighted there, Uganda's market kept on falling in regards to autos and cars, falling sharply after a 23.6% decrease in the sale for the previous month, that was of about August in the same year. And reports also indicated around a 102 unit there. But the brand-wise, the two leaders, or the two giant leaders in the system, that is Toyota gaining around a 3.5, and Nissan also registered a loss around 12% or 12.6% sales. But when you look at the midterm market trend that was highlighted compared to the recent reports, when we compare this to 2017, you will realize that the total vehicle sales have been up to around 2,193. That's a negative or a minus 8.9%, while in 2018 marginally recovered with 2,301 units sold, and that is a registration of around a plus or a positive 2.1. That means in 2017 there was at least a number of vehicles being bought, or the taxation was not much affecting or highly affecting the dealership in the automatics or cars. But when we compare what is happening between 2021, even as we speak, you realize, like the dealer there, Albert, was highlighting for you the amount that they have to incur, the cost incurred from the time of purchase, especially if they're to bring vehicles, if they're to import them from Japan, if they're to import them from the US. Of course, they're buying them cheaply. But when it comes to remitting taxes around the country here, so they're doubling the price or the cost at which they have bought a vehicle, for example. And in case they had bought it at 7 million there, around $2,000, US dollars, you realize the dealer is going to incur a double cost of around 7 million too, making it 14 million just to give in or beat the price around here. But in 2021, still, it is very negative for Uganda's market. In fact, a 400 unit has been sold, reporting a negative one. You will also realize that there was a lot of, I can say, the car trends that were trending between 2018 to 2019, before even the pandemic, around 2020. So you realize between 2020 and 2021, at least because of the pandemic, everyone is trying to revamp themselves back on, and that comes with a cost at some point, costing a lot of individuals in the business. Very well, moving on, this is still SMB, and it being a great, beautiful Women's Day. And how are they celebrating, or how are you going to be celebrating Women's Day? But now surely let us look at how we should celebrate women in all disciplines. And according to Margaret Rabasaija, who we had an interview with here, was highlighting, as we celebrate Women's Day, the 2022 had an interface with I beg your pardon. Smart 24 TV had an interface with the 2022 Women's in League, that is around Margaret Rabasaija, who highlighted on about representing workers, and she reminded, as well as you're celebrating Women's Day, what you should look out for in regards to professionalities, in regards to discipline, and in respect. Let us have what she has to say. We do return to seriously speak about Women's Day, and it is the entire discussion of the day, you know, international celebrations ongoing. Let us have a word from Rabasaija. We return.
The International Women's Day is a global day celebrating the socio-economic, cultural and political achievements of women, and is normally celebrated annually on the 8th of March. Margaret Rabasaija highlights that all women should be celebrated in all disciplines, regardless of the fields of their professionalism, and this has created less recognition for those that have no businesses at the high end.
We have issues that we can talk about right now. For example, with the women in the SMEs, small business institutions, not the big, they are not big investors, but these small businesses, the women are more. We have women who are working maybe in shops, they are very many. We have women working in the markets, and they have their own capital. We have also women baking. We have women who are making wine. The numbers are big, but they are not seen much. People don't look at them. We look at those with arcades, those who are at the peak, and we say the women are not there. But they are there and they are working. They have those small scale businesses. Even in agriculture, some of them you have heard, there are those who are rearing chicken, they are getting something out of that.
She further highlights that these women face the same challenges, for example, when acquiring loans, and also lack of awareness of the laws that will see them grow big in business.
Challenge that we have is that capital at times is a challenge. You know, in small scale business, if you survive for 2 years, then you know you make it. Because many times they collapse because one, lack of capital, but also at times there is interference from home. When the husband thinks that you are becoming a problem because you think you have a lot of money, and it leads at times to separation. So if you are lucky and the husband is supporting you up to the end, then you are likely to achieve after 2 years. It's a testing time. Then you are likely to survive. But also what I know, that the women, if they want loans, they get challenges because the laws want you to submit a land title so that they can use it, or a car these days, you like a logbook, so that you can get a loan. But if you don't, many women don't have land on their own. Because if I get land from my father, I inherited it from my father. And many women think that you cannot change the title even after, when you have even there's a will, but they fear, and they are not advised properly. So that brings challenges in as far as their businesses at times are concerned. But we know that there are those who have persisted, like those who have lost their husbands. There is a lady in Masaka, I've forgotten the hotel. The husband left her when she had about 2 children at a very young stage. But she has survived. She has made it up to the end. And she has even another hotel that she started in Kalangala, a very huge hotel. So there are few women at the top, but they are trying their level best. So I can say that the challenge, the problem is, how do you inject more capital if you are not, if you are the one paying school fees, if you are the single mother, and you find that the money, there are a lot of needs at home, so you find that you cannot balance, but you cannot also easily get a loan. Because they want to see is the land title in your name, is the car in your names, and if you don't, then you have challenges. That's what I can say.
Rabasaija also reveals that the theme of the year, which is focusing on gender equality, is to seek for equity in all aspects of life and not looking and putting the men down.
About equality, it's from different perspectives. You can say equality, but at least we are introducing new bills every other day. We have talked about the bill which has remained hanging for the last 3 terms of parliament. It was started in, I think, 9th parliament, 10th parliament, and still on, where we are talking about we are saying that maybe during the time of divorce, you can share out the bill, what you had together, what you constructed together. But because of that, that's the challenge. There could be equity for those men who have been liberal and have allowed their women to go and work. But others say, if you cannot go and work, I cannot send, because people will look at you and admire you like you did initially yourself, and so that's the challenge. They feel it's a threat. And so the other women have degrees, but they have remained at home, they are not working. But when we are talking about equity, it's from different angles. Equity that if I'm a graduate and I should be working, even a diploma holder, but you are saying I should remain at home, that becomes a challenge. If I'm not convincing enough, if I'm not assertive, I can take that role and say I remain at home. But many people are changing from that, because also there are those dark times when the person who thought was a power, that person loses the job, that person is incapacitated in an accident. So what happens? So we need also to open up and say, when we talk about equity, what are we talking about? We are talking about people, for example, who have been empowered by their parents, and they have put them in the limelight. And so because you're educated and I can compete and get a job, I can be a head teacher in a school where even I have men, that's one is the part of the equity we are talking about. Have your papers supported you? Have your parents supported you so that you can be equated to others? Can I get the same salary with the others? That's the way what I look at equity.
This year's celebrations will be headlined by the presence of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni at the Kololo Independence Grounds. Uganda will put emphasis on male engagement in promoting gender equality and women's empowerment in the context of climate change, environmental and disaster risk management. Jerome Paul Sonko for SMB.
Thank you, Jerome, there. And very well, we cannot stop talking about or speaking about Women's Day. This is the given day today. And hello, happy smiles everywhere you're watching us from. See you celebrating Women's Day. We're going to be taking a break, but SMB returns with SMB Across Borders.